Okay, so the rental fee for the Whole Elephant Institute legal rectification office located currently at this site that we are operating to rectify the illegal eviction case that happened at our old headquarter office called 2904 147th Street, Flushing, New York 11354. This site is still officially our Whole Elephant Institute former headquarter office, but it's due to the harassment and the discrimination and illegal case against Dr. Lotus King Weiss and the lawyer, Attorney Ning. As the human rights attorney, he basically abused the trust of Dr. Lotus King Weiss and the Whole Elephant Institute, and he went to the court and under no knowledge or consent agreement from Dr. Lotus King Weiss entered into a invalid stipulation which agreed to vacate that office, and basically it is an illegal eviction case mischarging the Whole Elephant Institute, mischarging Dr. Lotus King Weiss for failing to pay the rent. And the entire case is filled with lies and defects of a normal legal case. The paper was not served properly. The landlord's landlord's information is wrong. The respondent's information is totally wrong, and it's defamation in nature, accused of Dr. Lotus King Weiss to do business as the Whole Elephant Institute. Meanwhile, the rent throughout all the time that Dr. Lotus King Weiss was living in a bedroom and working full-time for the Whole Elephant Institute's community service to establish a charter school, all the rent was paid on time, in full amount, or even in excess by the donation fund of the Whole Elephant Institute. So this case, in every way, it should not be allowed even to enter into the court, and it shall be dismissed from the beginning. And Attorney Ning could easily put the information into the system, inform the judge, and dismiss the case as frivolous, baseless, lack of jurisdiction, but Attorney Ning completely failed to do so. Not only completely failed, but he took over all the rights of Dr. Lotus King Weiss and used his own way to enter into certain kind of negotiation with the landlord's lawyer, who is responsible for the, all the wrong paperwork of the illegal eviction. And then Attorney Ning entered into stipulation against and without the consent of Dr. Lotus King Weiss. And this justifies Attorney Ning's basically being accused of legal malpractice. And he shall shoulder all legal responsibilities for what has occurred or any losses that's going to result from his malpractice and abuse of the trust of the Whole Elephant Institute and Dr. Lotus King Weiss. But out of the consideration that Attorney Ning doing so is not out from negative intention, but due to his maybe moral character needs to be worked upon. Most people are not bad, but they don't understand the moral principles of being a good human, and they consider themselves are powerful human rights lawyers. They think that they can do whatever they want as a powerful human rights lawyer, and they can just take over the rights of their client. So this is a warning to all human rights attorneys in America that please do not do so. If you are a human rights attorney, you have no right to take over the persecuted one's rights and do whatever you want, and considering that you're doing a favor to the persecuted one, that your job is to uphold the law and to protect the persecuted one legally, not emotionally. not get involved with the protected person's private matter, right? Private interest, and always remember to honor the persecuted one's fundamental human rights, and do not do anything against the authority of the persecuted person's agreement. You know, do not violate the authority, do not cross the boundary and take over that person's rights. If the person has, no cultural or legal knowledge, you shall not take over it. You shall educate the person you represent, so that make sure the person you represent is fully aware of what you are doing and fully independent in the decision making of defining what is the rights that that person wants to uphold, and work with the human rights attorney, to advance the cause. Agree?
Agree. Yeah.
So currently, Mr. Attorney Ning has done something very seriously wrong, and is going to cause very serious loss of the interest of the whole Alpha Institute, which represents the interest of the general public. So myself as a leader, as the president, and Mrs. Shim as the treasurer, and all our leaders of the whole Alpha Institute basically need to examine this situation and vote on whether we shall file a lawsuit against Attorney Ning for his legal malpractice. If we're not going to do that against Attorney Ning, we need to make sure Attorney Ning repent and upgrade his moral character, and also take actions to make up for the losses, and prevent further losses of this case, which is still ongoing. Attorney Ning currently he himself quit to be the attorney that represents Dr. Lotus King Weiss, and Dr. Lotus King Weiss also requested the court to dismiss Attorney Ning as the lawyer to represent Dr. Lotus King Weiss, and currently Attorney Ning is totally out from this case. Dr. Lotus King Weiss has been spending all this time ever since returning from Orlando trip to seek for legal help every day, almost full-time work. Agree or not?
Agree. Yeah.
Okay. Not only Dr. Lotus King Weiss has been working on this, but Mr. Doik Shim has dedicated all his effort to support Dr. Lotus King Weiss to work on the legal helps by going to the court together with Dr. Lotus King Weiss for doing show causes, be present at the hearing, and making sure that Dr. Lotus King Weiss has a peaceful environment of living, and have enough energy to handle all the stresses caused by this illegal eviction. Currently, Dr. Lotus King Weiss totally lost the peaceful, harmonious office space that she spent 8 years to establish. Correct?
Correct.
So right now, all this is basically, the result of a human rights attorney who supposed to safeguard the interest of Dr. Lotus King Weiss, and supposed to be easily take care of this case, but made a false promise and handled the legal matters recklessly, and leading to great difficulties. And when Dr. Lotus King Weiss tried to find an attorney to take the case, Dr. Lotus King Weiss was informed that at least spend $20,000 legal fee to be able to vacate such a stipulation wrongly entered by Attorney Ning. Okay, $20,000. I have recording for it. Even after spending $20,000, if we hire this attorney called Alisa Sondok, she cannot make a promise that she can vacate the stipulation. And she also requested Dr. Lotus King Weiss to present the evidence that Attorney Ning entered into stipulation without the presence or acknowledgement or consent of Dr. Lotus King Weiss. And Dr. Lotus King Weiss currently now have presented to the general public this evidence, which is a video recording by Dr. Lotus King Weiss made in the Whole Elephant Institute Seattle office on the day right after September 15, which is September 16th. September 15th is the court date for Attorney Ning, and Attorney Ning told Dr. Lotus King Wise that she had nothing to worry. He will vacate the case easily, without effort, because he found a procedure defect of the landlord's attorney, and he definitely can make the judge toss out the case. Therefore, Attorney Ning informed Dr. Lotus King Wise no need to return to New York for attending the hearing. But on the 16th, when Dr. Lotus King Wise called Attorney Ning inquiring into the situation on the 15th of the hearing, Attorney Ning first claimed that he has won the case. Second, told Dr. Lotus King Wise that he made a deal with the landlord's attorney to vacate the Whole Elephant Institute office and receive $6,000 compensation from the landlord's pocket. Now, Attorney Ning claimed to Dr. Lotus King Wise this is a victory. And Attorney Ning also claimed to Dr. Lotus King Wise that she owes him attorney fees. And he demanded Dr. Lotus King Wise to pay his attorney fees immediately, and even indicated that $6,000 should be given to him for his attorney fee. You can see very clearly that Attorney Ning entered into stipulation fully with his interest placed as number one, and with no regard of the interest of the Whole Elephant Institute. And he totally compromised the interest of the Whole Elephant Institute, and even accusing the Whole Elephant Institute for getting free stay, no pay of rent of over $20,000. He also defamed the Whole Elephant Institute, defamed Dr. Lotus King Wise, spread false information, and then the consequence of his action immediately manifest into the landlord's home. The landlord told the little girl, Clear, that your beloved auntie want our money, and tried to use that to destroy the love, trust, and respect of the little girl, Clear, towards Dr. Lotus King Wise. And that is priceless. Nobody can afford to pay back once it's destroyed. Okay, and then that also stirred up hatredness among the landlord's in-laws and among landlord's wife. And that further led to the landlord's wife started to commit hate crime on May 28th to call 911 and accuse Dr. Lotus King Wise to harass the little Clear, causing little Clear to commit suicide. And that led to Dr. Lotus King Wise, kidnapped and disappeared by the 109 precinct police officers, and then taken to the mental hospital unit of the Long Island Jewish Center, right? Jewish Medical Center. So currently, the incidents that accumulated the bill of close to $5,000 of the ambulance charge and the hospital bill. Okay, Mr. Shim, please verify that everything I'm saying is true or not true.
True, yeah.
Okay, so here Mr. Shim is by my side. He's a moral teacher, and he started to practice morality ever since 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Shim is here to verify that everything I have spoken is true. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, because Mr. Shim also that day was called by me in emergency when I was already handcuffed and was about to be disappeared by the 109 precinct, the police officers. Mr. Shim rushed over to the ambulance and witnessed what happened exactly so. After that, Mr. Shim even looked for me all over the place in all the hospitals nearby and spent about 3 hours in the hot weather and very tired and running around to try to look for me. And was very stressed out, totally stressed out. Correct, Mr. Shim?
Correct.
I'm going to record that.
Correct.
Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, it's the United States is the democratic country, so the must be the control for the people everything. So not for their intentionally the people forcefully to take the hospital, that is very bad situation. So everybody must respect the people's rights. Yeah, that's I want to, the spread out to all the people in our Flushing community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shim, for
thank
your
you.
kindness, for your standing up for conscience and justice. And it's very important for our community. So I basically believe that through, we honestly presenting our experience in the community, we can deliver all these precious moral lessons to our community and everybody. We have no negativities towards the landlord. I always tell you that I love them. I view them as my family members. I particularly want to say to Mr. Deren Ren and Ms. Wang Fen, you two are parents, and make sure that you understand that it's absolutely illegal and it's a child abuse to use your daughter as a tool and make her to be the excuse to try to persecute me. Little Clear has been my most wonderful little friend, supporters. And she always spent a wonderful time with me. And please do not block my precious friendship and the trust, love, and respect relationship with this very beautiful, precious child who, from very young age, want to build the Chinese charter school together with me. So I view her as a future leader of the Ho Elephant Institute. And she always call Miss Lotus Blossom Wise, who is now 18 years old, the co-president of the Ho Elephant Institute, 大姐姐, the big sister. And he calls the current CEO of the Ho Elephant Institute, Mr. Noah Wang Genitosio, as 大哥哥, the big brother. And he called the vice president of the Ho Elephant Institute, Mr. Brian Scott Weiss, uncle brother. So in every regard, through the eight years of experience doing nonprofit work in that family, hosted by Mr. Deren Ren as the true landlord, I already integrated into that family, and the family is my family. And so I have been there unconditionally delivering support for the wealth, the health of the entire family. And so there is absolutely no moral ground.
Let's meet one day, the family.
Okay. So Mr. Shim also want to take this opportunity to say something to Mr. Deren Ren and Ms. Wang Fen. Go ahead, please say something.
So the harmony of the family is the most important for our the life. So let's go together to visit the home, and we will have the opportunity to discuss about this advice, morally.
At this point, we cannot do so because if we don't get the consent, and also right now has a legal case ongoing, it's not going to be possible for me to invite you into the Ho Elephant Institute current site and then talk to them, because at this point I have a legal matter with Mr. Deren Ren and Ms. Wang Fen still currently in the court. So the only person who can actually harmonize the situation is you, Mr. Shim. You have the status of a community member, a neighbor of Mr. Deren Ren and Ms. Wang Fen, and you have all the rights and all the responsibilities as a moral teacher after hearing what has been going on over there to invite them to here.
Okay.
And so I also can work with you to together invite them to come to our site here. My proposal is to invite the entire family, the grandma, the grandpa, on both sides, and Deren and Wang Fen, the parents, and the two children, and anybody from the family who are interested in, finding the truth and make sure this case is peacefully resolved, and come here. You will be the host, and you will be there hearing both sides of the story, and then you will make a judgment and find the best solution for the current situation. Consider that to be a community trust towards you, and I request you officially today.
Okay. I will do.
Thank
I
you
will
very
do.
much. Okay.
Okay, thank you.